Hello there, I'm Ricky Don, and today's review is going to be a fragrance review of Oud Maknoon, and the perfumery house is Swiss Arabian. It's a Middle Eastern company that has been in business since 1974, so they have been around quite a while making some wonderful fragrances. When I first purchased this, I was not familiar with Swiss Arabian, and I had a little bit of trouble finding reviews here on Oud Maknoon. There just weren't too many here on YouTube from the fragrance community, so I decided that if I bought the bottle, I would definitely do a review on it. I did end up purchasing the bottle. I absolutely love it, even though we've got it wrapped back up here so you can see the presentation. I've had it for several months and I've worn it several times, and I just absolutely love it and enjoy it. And it's one of those fragrances, it's kind of like Alfred Dunhill's Egyptian Smoke. It does not get enough attention from the fragrance community, so it needs more attention and more love, and I'm giving it today. It's not familiar or similar to Egyptian Smoke in any way, other than it just deserves more attention than it's getting. This presentation is absolutely phenomenal. This bottle is a 45 ml bottle. In this presentation, it costs me right around $89 from one of the fragrance discount vendors online, and I've seen it on all of the vendors, the discount vendors, for about that same price. And you can see for that price, this is some stunning presentation. This plastic case is wrapped in a paper that is very elegant and rich feeling. The bottle is encased here in an indent set within this case, and it's got a kind of like a velvet there, but it is so packaged well that that bottle doesn't even come out of that. I mean, Swiss Arabian does not cut corners in this presentation at all. And then look at this bottle. I mean, that's a bottle that anybody would be impressed to see in their collection or sitting on their Parfum collection counter. The top there of the cap is jeweled, the lid cap is jeweled. The bottom, of course, has a sticker right there that has the batch code on it. The lid fits snugly enough that you are able to lift the bottle up from the lid without worrying about it falling off. The front faceplate here in the bottle is the name of the Parfum, which is Oud Maknoon. The back faceplate here has the company name, Swiss Arabian. And it's just a beautiful bottle. This cap fits snugly, so I'm going to take the cap off there. The atomizer is one that you will really appreciate. It is one of those that is, I use the term calibrated, that if you want a little bit of juice, you can press down lightly and get a little bit of juice. You can press down mediumly, get medium juice flow, or a full depression is going to give you a whole bunch of juice. It is a Parfum concentration, and I have noticed I wear a moisturizer so that my skin does not absorb the oils in the Parfum. If you wear moisturizer, then the Parfum's going to lay on top of your skin a lot longer and perform better. So I have noticed that when I apply this to my skin, I almost see a bit of an oily residue there, which to me says there's a lot of oil in this juice and it's going to last you longer and probably project better and perform better. So just telling you that for your information. I knew that you could see the projection there. This has been on my skin about 2 hours, which reminds me, the very first time that I wore this fragrance, we were going out furniture shopping, and I put the fragrance on about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours before we left the house. We get to the furniture store 15-20 minutes away from home, and it's one of those massive furniture showrooms. we're walking down one of the aisles, and there's not too many people in the store, and we hear this, excuse me, we're coming through. And we looked behind us, and there was a couple of guys, and they were carrying a heavy sofa through, and we parted ways to let them through. I get about 8 to 10 feet away from the aisle that we were in and looking at furniture, and I hear this, and I look up, and the gentleman carrying the sofa had come to a dead stop, and the guy that was behind, he was like looking right at me, and he says, somebody's wearing a very expensive gentleman's fragrance cologne. He said, what is it? And I said, it's Oud Maknoon by Swiss Arabian. And he goes, say that again. And I said, Oud Maknoon by Swiss Arabian. And he starts muttering it to himself as they walk away. Oud Maknoon, Swiss Arabian. And I knew he was getting it embedded into his brain, so when they get to the warehouse and he sets the sofa down, he can get on his phone and look it up. But it really has great performance, great projection, and a sillage. You leave a trail behind you. I would say that it's lasting on my skin about 10 to 12 hours. Now, the projection's not anywhere that long, but we know it exceeds 3 hours because I'd had it on probably 3 hours by the time this gentleman noticed it 8 to 10 feet away from me. So it is really a powerhouse, one of those that I would call a beast. And it is marketed as a unisex fragrance. And you know me, if you've listened to my other reviews, I'm one of those people that say every fragrance is a unisex fragrance. If you like it, you wear it. It doesn't matter who it's marketed to. If you just love it, go for it. But this one, while marketed to unisex, definitely leans masculine, in my opinion. Now, yours may be totally different, and that's okay. We're born to be different, so let's just go with it and let it go. The accords on this are oud, fresh spicy, rose, amber, musky, powdery, warm spicy, and aromatic. The notes are a top note of pepper, a middle note of rose, a base note of agar wood or oud, and musk and amber. So it's pretty simple, but yet it smells pretty complex. It's a beautiful, on skin and on paper, it's a beautiful right out of the start powderiness up top that's got that pepper and the rose and the oud, all three in it performing right up front for a few moments. And then as it begins to develop, the peppery note begins to fade some, and that rose picks up. And then after you've had it on about 30 or 40 minutes, the oud really begins to come through. And it's one of those ouds that you're going to appreciate. It's not one of those barnyardy ouds. It's not going to be an oud that somebody walks by you and goes, dude, did you poop your britches? It's not that kind of oud. You should feel safe in knowing that it's not going to be an oud that's offensive. It's an oud that's admirable. People are going to probably notice it and think it may have been part of what that gentleman noticed when I was wearing, that it was unique and something that he hadn't really noticed before. And I think it's that kind of oud that people are going to admire and go, wow, what is that? That's unusual. That's unique. And I love those fragrances. It reminds me a tad bit. Now, remember that this was released in 2018, so it is in no way, shape, or form a clone of another fragrance that I'm about to mention. I just want you to know that it's just a little bit similar. It's a little bit similar to Guerlain's Cuir Intense without the bold leather. It doesn't have the leather that Cuir Intense has, but it has that kind of that same musk and that same amber. And probably the rose. I get a little bit of rose out of that Cuir Intense that other people don't notice too much. And it's got that. So It's not similar. You cannot buy this thinking that it's going to be that you're going to smell like you're wearing Guerlain's Cuir Intense, because it's not going to smell that similar at all. But there is a little bit of the same notes or same accords. Another one that it reminds me a little bit of is Gucci's A Midnight Stroll. Now, it doesn't have that darkness, that deep darkness that A Midnight Stroll has, but it has a bit of that powderiness to it and a little bit of the incense notes or accords without the smokiness. Again, it's not real similar. You're not going to be able to buy this and have people go, oh, you're wearing Gucci A Midnight Stroll. That is not going to happen. They're not that similar at all. But it does, there is a little hint of the same accords there. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to tell you that do not be shy about Swiss Arabian and wondering if they're a quality company or not. This presentation ought to tell you, and this bottle ought to tell you, they've got their attention on detail, not only on the juice in the bottle, but as well as the presentation. If any of you have any Swiss Arabian fragrances and you like them or don't like them, mention them in the comments below and let me know, because I am wanting to buy some more. I've had this for several months. I'm so impressed with its performance. I'm so impressed with its quality that I'm going to be buying more Swiss Arabian fragrances. So if any of you have them out there, either do a review on them and let me know that you're doing a review and I'll look it up and watch it, or let me know in the comments below what you think. With that, I am going to say over and out and wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe and hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.